lesson of tango today.
It's really nice that you are here with us today, and it's more or less 1 year we've been doing this online, isn't it?
1 year exactly.
Is it exactly? Today?
Plus 2 days. Plus 2 days, yes, exactly. On the 15th of March 2020 we decided to transfer everything online to answer to the COVID crisis, and you've given us an amazing support, so thank you so very much for everyone who's actually following us all through this year. I know it's been very tough because Tango Online, of course, is not like Tango any longer, but this is what it is, and we really are really grateful for you to actually have supported us all this time.
Thank you so much, everybody. That really made a big difference, I would say.
So my name is Bruno, if we have never met, and Paula, lovely Paula on my side, right here, so we are from Tanguito, we have a little banner there, and we have 2 classes organized for you today. The first one is for beginners and improvers, starting right now for roughly 45 minutes. We have a short break, and at 3 o'clock UK time, we have intermediate and advanced dancers. So today the theme is a bit special because we always have a theme every time, which is very well defined, but today we thought it's going to be a celebration of having 1 year of online teaching. I suspect we have something around 500 lessons on the YouTube channel now, so it's quite a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
1 year is a long time, right?
Yes.
So it's a bit of a best of, if you like, of everything we've done today. Of course, we are going to have to be very succinct and just choose a few things that we think are interesting for all of you. So we hope that you are going to enjoy it fully.
So before we start, a word of caution, we say at the beginning of any class, so welcome again. And please note that by watching or attending this class, you are agreeing to our terms and conditions that are on the description of this video, so please make sure you are well enough to attend this class.
Alright, so let's start. We always start with our beginners, for those who have started recently to dance, and obviously this is if you have a partner. So we always start with a little bit of connection, because this is so important to get right. So, we'll start facing each other. Maybe this is the time for your smile. Hello. Let's pretend we have to be longer.
Hopefully you're smiling before that already.
let's pretend we have to be longer. Very nice to meet you. And you're going to face your partner completely. So your shoulders here, be careful that it's very tempting to go a little bit to the side. Face her completely, and you're going to connect through your center. You're going to invite left hand first, it's up to you, but we prefer left, and then you finish that connection with the right arm here. Know that none of us is neither forward nor backward, we're just in our axis. However, especially for the benefit of complete beginners, be careful that this is not happening. You keep your hips really on top of your heels. I'm going to start changing my weight from side to side, and I feel that connection with my partner, and she's going to respond to me with a movement from side to side as well. We start synchronizing our movement here. Now, as I'm placing my weight on one leg, I choose the right in this case, I'm going to start having a little bit of energy forward, and you see that it's going to produce or to actually make the follower do the projection with her leg here. So she means it's ready, or she's ready for the caminata, for actually having the walk together. And I'm going to start pushing with my back leg. I'm going to straighten that leg, and I'm going to push on the heel, and off we go. That connection is of course very important here, to have a nice and continuous signal when we move together.
So I am indicating to my partner where my weight is by ascending the weight via the hip to the floor and towards his axis. Of course, I'm still engaging my own center, so I am not giving all of it. I engage my center, but I indicate, I send my intention via the hip to the floor and to my partner. And this is going to give extra clear communication for the leader to understand where the follower's weight is.
So I'm going to receive that information and apply it in the way I move. Leaders, remember, if you have started recently, the tendency that we have as leaders is to go too quickly, to try to do things too quickly. So we're going to have to slow down and relax and kind of breathe in, contract these muscles, the thighs and the core, to make sure that we stay upright, but not get this tension on the chest or the arms level. This is quite relaxed. The energy has to come from below the waist to really push our partner. This is a bit more relaxed because this is of course where the connection happens. It can't be too stiff.
Absolutely, and also take the opportunity, take the time to go through all the stages of the step. So you receive, so for the part of the follower, you receive the indication of the leader to where your weight is. Then you're going to have the indication to the projection. You're going to have the push of the standing leg, and then as you transfer, you go through the toes before taking the center back by pushing from the front and recovering the access to the back. So I am really in no rush. I wait for the leader to go through these 3 stages in order to arrive to that back step.
So let's try to connect and play the music, a bit of a song together. If you want to try with us. Now if you're a slow dancer, no panic. You can just practice your caminata forward, really working on the projection and how you receive the weight, make it very smooth. If you're a follower as well, you can go back. Of course, be careful around if you're in your apartment. So, yeah. A bit of a trial together. Fuimos. Here we go. We give you a few seconds to practice together to warm up and check back with the main thing today.
No comprendes que te cosas tanto, no comprendes que te cansas tanto, no me sientas ni me llames ni me beses, ni me llores ni me pidas.
Okay, so we will continue with what we chose for today. Again, we have covered so much in the last year that it was very hard to choose. We have to make one choice, and today we chose the ocho cortado and little variation for beginners and improvers, and this is the theme today. So we're going to start with a very, very simple ocho cortado, the classic ocho cortado if you like, which is going to work like this. I'm going to start on my right leg, left being free, and I'm going to do a rebound and take back my partner after a cross. So a few little things that happen in ocho cortado, but first let's review what the leader has to do and the follower has to do. So let's start with quickly the leader. I have to have my weight on the right leg here, and I'm going to do a rebound on the left, one, and a back step here. Now let's make sure that as I do the rebound, I maintain the hips and I don't do this, okay? So it's 1 and 2. Now here, I'm going to have to open the hips and invite my partner to step with me here. So what I do with this leg is up to you. You can rearrange this position or leave it here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to catch my partner in the middle when she's transiting into her left leg, and I'm going to take her back. And as I'm going to take her back, I'm going to dissociate to the left here, and then collect and go with the left forward. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and go. One more time, this angle perhaps. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, go. Yes? So really take your time, leaders, to do everything, your projection here, the translation when you go to this step here. Really push the floor, so articulate the foot so that you really have a nice landing. Do not leave it too late. This is too late. You need to be in the middle if you want to catch the floor in the middle. And you're going to make sure that you start dissociating before you come back onto the left leg. Nice change, and then you go. Let's take a look at the follows now.
Okay, so we are going to start with a back step, with a rebote step to the back or rebound step. And I am going to go to my right foot behind me, taking a step, but it's a rebound, so I'm not going to take my free foot into collection. I'm going to lower the level of my step a little bit, so I'm going down, and now I'm going to push forward into a forward step using the back foot. I'm going to continue bringing the foot through collection, and now I'm going to step forward with a little bit of dissociation to my partner, going through pivots, side step, so really dropping the weight here with a little bit of twist. And now I am going to go into my right foot again by starting with a little bit of pivots and crossing left over right. Now I'm facing the leader again. I'm going to uncross and project into that back step. So I'm going to show you with this angle. So we're going back, rebound, and forward, side step to my left, and I'm going to turn facing the leader again, and crossing, going through the projection, and stepping. So in terms of timing, we have quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow, and exit to collect. I will give you a few more tips as we go, but maybe let's call in the leader for now.
The leader, you don't have a choice, it's only me, I'm afraid. Alright, so for leaders, the same applies. The timing is going to be, for now, as we simplify it, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow. So that means I'm going to go on a half beat and then have a little bit of a breather here. I relax a bit, I slow down, I open, and then quick, quick, slow to come back here. So we really need to match this timing. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and I go. Okay, so let's take a look at how we do it together. I'm going to do a few things, leaders. First of all, I'm going to make sure that my left is free, and I'm going to have to go 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and go. Now I need to create a bit of space for my follower onto my right hand side. So if I was to do it on this side here, maybe with slightly open embrace so that you can see, it's not like I send my partner facing me in front of me, because here she has no space. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to create a bit of space here so that I'm inviting her to walk into my inner lane. Inner lane is that space where we have the follower on our right hand side, and this is done by displacing your right foot gently, gently, a little bit only when you do your rebound. So it's not like you go rebound and you place your foot at exactly the right place. You're going to have a little bit of traveling to do with the right, no more than 5 to 10 centimeters, that's all, so that your right now is to the back of your left. See, they are actually in a straight line. They are like this here, as opposed to being like this here. It doesn't immediately look like a very much difference. It is actually making a big difference because I'm creating this line, this space for my follower to enter.
So, the forward step, okay, this is one of those moments that we really need to enter with the energy forward. So one thing that sometimes happens in this particular situation is when you have your rebound back, we could forget our center behind and then just go forward with the upper body because we are just invading the space rather than pushing from the standing leg. So what you want to do is to push from the standing leg, so you really enter with your center and you get a very good connection with your partner in that forward step. Otherwise, we're going to have a little bit of a gap as the leader go back. If I do not push forward, we're going to have a little bit of a gap and create a disconnect. So the moment that the leader is bringing me into that back ribote and now I have the indication to go forward, I do not hesitate. As soon as I have the indication to go forward, I push and enter with my attitude, yeah?
With your attitude, yes. I like that.
Attitude forward. Okay, so push from the standing leg and really enter with the center. Now, if I can just say one more thing.
Sure.
When you have your side step, you're going to feel a rebound again into the cross. So try to avoid to go into forward docho if you are not really waiting for that moment to see what happens next after your side step. It might be that you want to collect and go into a forward docho, but in this case, you're going to shortcut it. This is why it's called docho cortado. You're not going to go on the forward docho, but you're going to go quickly into that cross. Yes, so if you are not sure what happens after the first rebound into the side step, wait, be really present and listen to what is happening in the lead, okay?
So, one thing I'd like to mention regarding the embrace. The embrace is key, of course, in tango, you all know this, but it's very, very important to get it right in the case of the ocho cortado, especially in every case there is some kind of rebound or change of direction. Why is that? Because if we have too loose an embrace, then the signal to actually do the rebound will be very late, and then suddenly that kind of creates this kind of feeling here. So what I need from the lead, what we need from the lead and follower is the leader have a kind of a firm embrace, but don't think that you're the only one involved in the embrace, because the follower will have also to have a very, very present embrace here. That means that as I do the rebound, she already feels there's some kind of elastic going on here, and this elastic I'm going to use to send her forward. So it's not only the leader having to embrace and make sure that the follower is not going away, it's also the follower. So as usual, 50-50.
Yes, yeah. So always have your frame ready to be activated at all times, yeah?
Okay, so if we do it one more time. 1 and 2, 3, gently does it, and we go with the leg forward. We do it a few times with music. Note that as you do an ocho cortado, you can do another, because we end up on the same leg. So this is what we're going to do.
Am I allowed to give one more tip?
Of course.
Okay, so at the end of your ocho cortado, so in the actual ocho cortado, when you transfer the weight, there is a moment that the leader might not be sure where your weight is. Is it fully received already into that cross, or is it still into legs? So I like to make this moment extra clear for the leader by dropping the weight through the hip and sending my center forward, so he feels the change of the weight has happened and I'm ready with my right leg to project back.
Okay, so let's do it with music. Of course, with music is always better. Every single time.
de linaje derramada
practice your chocortado.
No ves entre dolor que deseado con amor, preparado de mi amor. No comprendes que te estoy salvando, no comprendes que te estás matando. No me sigas ni me llames, ni me beses, ni me llores, ni me quieras más.
Alright, so let's continue on the chocortado journey. First of all, I'd like to mention that what we showed here, we started to see that there are different musicalities when it comes to this side rebound for the follower. So if I keep the embrace open a little bit here to show you, it's not always going to be 1 and 2, 3 and 4. It can very well be 1 and 2, 3, and there's a little bit of slowing down, or a lot sometimes, and 4. So that actually is something that you can play with, and of course it depends on the music. In the case of Pugliese that we are using today, there's a lot of stretch in the music, therefore we really take our time when we do the chocortado.
So one thing that's really helping for the followers to understand the timing of your chocortado, I would say, is a lot of the time your chocortado will happen in close embrace, so you have a lot of access to communication via the center. So when I have my center with my partner center, and my presence is there, as well as in the embrace, but we have direct communication center on center, so if he's delaying at any moment, I'm going to feel it. Yeah, so if I'm present that way, it's really going to facilitate the connection in terms of timing.
Okay, so let's continue with a little adorno for leaders. Now I'm going to modify the shape of what I'm doing. I'm going to go 1 and 2, and rather than stepping on my right leg here, I'm going to reach to actually have my right place a little bit forward. So let me show you this angle. This is the classical chocortado where I'm going to go 1 and 2, 3 and 4. But here what I'm going to do is 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Note that in this configuration I still have to lead the side step of my follower to my right. So it's not like suddenly you step here and you put your foot here. You need to open, but you don't have the luxury of stepping. So you need to actually have an extra bit of dissociation, and you stand that foot here for this foot connection. Now you have to replace your foot right here before she comes back for the cross. So it's going to be 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3, 4. And for the follower, she should not feel any difference in terms of lead or where she steps. There is no change. We start?
So you are going to feel the leader's leg is on the way. So there's really no need there instinctively to make any embellishment at that moment. So you're just going to leave the leg extended on the side.
Mm-hmm. So 1 and 2, and here I place my foot here for contact with the foot, and I have to remove the foot before she does that little cross, of course. 1 and 2, 3, 4. That's a little decoration for the leaders. It's not very complicated, you just have to make sure that you have enough rotation of the torso before you stand up.
If you would like to add a little decoration followers to this sequence, I would recommend you that you would decorate the left leg as you go back into the rebound, so you can simply flex that foot a little bit, so it's relatively easy to do. You are already there with the spacing, you just need to bring the toes up and you create a flex. So nice and simple for now, and we don't get in each other's way with the timing of the other ones.
So, let's do it one last time with music, and then you can try before we carry on.
No comprendes que te estoy salvando, no comprendes que te estoy salvando, no me sientas ni me llames, ni me llores, ni me quieras
Okay, so let's stop the music for now. And let's carry on with our next example of what you could do with your chocortado. Now it's going to be a little bit of a change when it comes to the leader, because we are going to add a little bit of rotation in that chocortado. That's interesting. So let's take a look at how it could look. So first of all, I'm going to make sure that I have less movement of my legs. I'm going to show you how. So just 1 second. So I show you the leader's part. So this time I'm not going to go 1 and 2, 3. I'm going to go 1 and here I'm going to rotate with my right leg here. So it's a little bit of a different setup. 1 and then opening here. So we'll see what it means for the follower. It's going to add a bit of rotation around you because you're not traveling with her anymore.
Okay, so let's do it together once I would say.
1 and 2, 3 and 4, go. One more time. Let's start from this angle. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, go. So it's a little bit different for the leader, and for the follower she feels a lot of rotation around the leader.
So the first step almost does not change, so it depends on how much rotation you receive for that rebound step, but in this case it's very little. So at the moment of the rebound, I almost go the same way as in the first version, but then I am going to reposition my left leg a little bit closer to the leader, because that's the moment that I start receiving rotation from the leader. So I'm going to step forward already a little bit at an angle, and now I'm going to continue pivoting a little bit. A forward step very small, continuing into my pivots, continuing into my side step, and then cross. So what happens is, the pattern is very similar, only the steps are a little bit smaller and there is rotation between each step. So how much pivot there is between each step depends on how much the leader rotates. Yeah?
So why would it be interesting? First of all, it adds a bit of new blood into your cortado, your chocortado, but also it's very useful if you have little space around in your milonga, if you're at a milonga, because basically here you make it around you rather than traveling to your back here. In the first option we had 2 steps to do to the back, one with the left and one with the right leg here. Now we don't anymore. Now it's just like that initial step and then rotation. Now I have one thing that I need to do is, if I do this first rebound, I need to reposition my right here. So I don't leave it here, I leave it here, and then I have a pivot on 2 feet, and I come back, I gather my feet, and I go. So make sure that you have this foot repositioning the right to your side, a little bit to your left hand side, so that she has this element of rotation around.
Okay, shall we demonstrate it?
Absolutely.
Con una lluvia de cenizas y fatigas que
Okay, a few seconds for you to practice.
No comprendes que te estoy salvando, no comprendes que te estás matando, no me sientas ni me llames ni me llores ni me pidas
Okay guys, so we have a question in the feed regarding the follower's right leg as we're going back into that rebound. Now, if my right leg bends or straight, this is going to depend on the level that the step is going to be led. So, if the rebound leg of the leader would be into a straight leg, I would go into a straight leg. In that case, I probably would take more of the hip back. However, if the leader is going into a bent forward leg, that means I'm going in a bent position with my back leg. So this would happen. Okay, so I'm not setting one particular position. I'm always depending on the level that I feel coming through the leg. Yes?
So, as for the leader, what's important here is to understand that most of our weight is on the right leg. So you go one, and then here we have a little bit of displacement of the axis onto the right, but we leave the left here for convenience purposes. We could, if we wanted to, collect and pivot here, but it would be a little less stable, and we would actually help the follower less in terms of that rotation. So best to keep it here and think of it as a pivot on 2 feet, but mostly on the right leg in this case. Okay, so we are going to show you another variation of the ocho cortado. So this variation is actually very interesting. It's slightly more difficult, so it's maybe for more improver dancers if you like. But basically this is something that was danced back in the day. So the ocho cortado, as we don't know it now, where it's quick, quick, slow, and then a rebound and a cross, is something relatively recent, in quote of course, because it's not that recent, probably 40 years. But at the beginning, this was more the type of ocho cortado that people would dance. So we show you how it would look. So let's travel back in time. The rebound is still here. And here we are. So it's still an ocho cortado because there's still a rebound here and a cross at the end, but of course inside is very different, especially what the follower is going to do.
So do you want to start with your part? Or shall I start with mine?
So for the leader, I'm going to do the same as before. 1 and 2. So this time I have to make it linear. It's not a circular ocho cortado, it's still the linear one, except of course the style is different at the end. So 1 and 2. Now I'm going to open, and I'm going to have a little bit more weight onto my right leg. This is my right leg. And I'm going to have a little bit more rotation of my left, the left part of my race. Now I need to be careful that the right part is not starting to open, because this would be the signal for a hero or something around here. So I need to have a limit of this side of my race. I don't invite my partner to go too much to the side, but I invite my partner to pivot inside the arm race. That means I have to go and push a little bit or open the left towards my right here, whilst the right is quite inactive. Be careful again not to do this, then she will go. So I'm going to catch the moment when she's in the center, and I'm going to have that rotation here. Now she's going to now face this direction, and I have to take her back and finish with a cross here. We're going to take a look at the cross in a second after the explanation for the follow-up.
Okay, so now the initial part is completely the same. So I start with my back, rebote, rebound back, and now I am going forward and I'm going to feel a deceleration of the embrace leading into the side step. Yeah, because it's going to be more of a grounding side step than the energy of rebote. So I have more of a grounding here that is going to continue into rotation. Now the rotation is going to happen on my right side and the leader is pushing a little bit. So when the leader pushes this side towards me, I'm going to do the same thing, so push against. And with the invasion of the axis, rotating this side, that is going to make me then take my free leg into the decoration. Okay, so I personally like to take that movement into the rouleau and then going forward. However, you could simply collect and then go forward. I personally think the first movement makes more sense in terms of dynamic. So, keep the right leg on the floor. Try to design a circle under the space of the knee, keeping the big toe in contact of the floor and the knee and heel of the floor. Before you're going on to the next forward step, now really enter with your center, and this is the moment where I'm going to feel the cross is happening here until I'm facing the leader again. Now send the weight via the hip, left hip, drop, so I can then release my right leg into the projection. So I do a few times now without stopping. So 1 and 2, grounding, rouleau, forward and cross on the spot to get out of that position. And by the way, last Friday we looked at rouleaus in detail, didn't we?
Plenty of rouleaus, maybe rouleau overdose, I have to say. That was good. Friday was a solo technique for leaders and followers, so rouleau for leaders and followers, and lapis as well.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at what happens at the very end here. So I'm going to invite Paula to go forward, and then here, this is when I catch this moment to rotate the hip, and at the moment she's rotating, I'm going to send a little bit of signal forward, very, very gently, so that she feels she has a step to make. And then as I go, I'm going to very quickly rotate into the left to indicate the cross. I wait for the rotation, and off we go. So the idea, leaders, is really like a very, very small amount of displacement of axis here to say, please step, please go a tiny bit more, and there you catch this leg, this cross here. So this is a little bit trickier to find that right timing to catch the leg of the followers for the cross to happen.
But that is really, really helpful because we're coming from a decoration going into a forward step. So having that clarity that we're going to enter the space with the full axis, it's really, really satisfying before the cross. Of course, once I arrive to the forward step, I can't assume I'm going to have a forward dojo. I still have to wait and see what happens after that moment. So I'm present here in the embrace. The embrace starts rotating as I collect, and you see that the dissociation starts in the upper body. My hips are still facing the other side, and slowly my hips are going to catch up with the rotation of the upper body so that everything is facing the leader again.
So let's do it with music, and then we will wrap up.
Culpa golondrina entre la nieve, rosa marchitada por la nube que nos duele, fuimos la esperanza que no llega, que no alcanza, que no puede vislumbrar la tarde mansa. Fuimos el viajero que no implora, que no reza, que no sabe que se no comprendes que le estás matando, no comprendes que le estoy llamando.
3 seconds to practice and we'll wrap up.
No mereces que te estoy llorando, no ves, es mejor que el dolor que le he dado con tu amor, liberado de mi amor. No comprendes que te estoy salvando, no comprendes que te estás matando, no me sientas ni me llames ni me dejes, ni me llores ni me pidas más.
So we hope that this ocho cortado refresher was useful to you guys. There are so many things you could do with ocho cortado. As a matter of fact, we have prepared a little bit more, but we chose to focus on the details rather, so that you have a full picture of what we did today. So
we are going to do a little dance as always at the end of every class, but before we do that, I will just show you a couple of links that might be of your interest. So this is where our program and library are located, tanguito.co.uk/live, tanguito.co.uk/library.
So the live is for the future live lessons, and of course library is for the past lessons.
Okay, and also, why not paying us a visit to our social media, Instagram for example, @Tanguito Academy and @PaulaDuarteTango. Also, if you fancy checking my website, it's the same, pauladuartetango.com.
So if you are in front of your computer, you can subscribe to the channel. And now let's do a little dance for you. We are going to have a small break, and then at 3, as usual, we are going to take a look at what we prepared for intermediate and advanced dancers. Here you go.
No comprende comprendes que te soy tanto, no me sientas ni te cantes, ni me llores, ni me quieras
So, little pause for you guys. Let me stop the music first. Little pause. We are back shortly for the next lesson. Intermittent advance. We are going to change it a little bit.
See you soon, guys. Enjoy the break. And welcome back everyone to our second class this Sunday afternoon.
Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for coming today. We are very glad that you took the time to do a bit of tango with us. So this class is specifically to celebrate 1 year of teaching online since this crisis started. So we hope that you will enjoy it fully. And I think you had a few things to say before, no?
Yes, of course. So welcome everyone from all of the platforms. Just one disclaimer before we start. We say it at the beginning of every class for the ones who just joined. Note that by joining or attending or watching this class, you are automatically agreeing to the terms and conditions that you can find at the website. And basically what it is please make sure you are well enough, in good condition to attend this class.
Or in the TNCs, there's no part having to send us any bottle of wine or anything. Don't worry, it's just very, very standard, I hope. So thank you again. We are going to go through different things. So today is a bit of a special day because of this celebration of 1 year online. So therefore, we don't have a theme rather than actually this celebration. So we've picked up a few things that we think you will like, that we taught in the past, and hopefully you'll have a bit of fun. So, intermittent advanced dancers, let's start. And we'll start, of course, with the mighty calcita. Why not? Alright, so here we go. So, I'm going to put my glasses in my pocket here, and let's show it to you, the first part, before we explain it. So if you have done the calcita, leaders, you will see that it's actually nothing new for you, but there's a lot of things happening for the followers. So I suggest I quickly review the calcita for the leader, and then you can go in detail with the follower.
Sure.
So leaders, what you need to do for this calcita to work is basically first of all get your partner into a corte. So you need to go into backward ocho, and you place her onto her right leg with a little bit of down movement. This is going to make her, to give her the signal that you're going to do something, and she's going to stabilize her axis and ready for rotation. Now once she's here, you have to do one little thing, which is pivot on that right leg here, so that you are in Americana. Americana means that our two hips are more or less parallel to each other. So do not try to go sideways, you need to go backwards for the calcita. So it means we are going to pivot gently without changing the embrace. And now I'm going to visualize the axis of rotation, which will be the right foot of the follower. This will be the center of the circle I'm going to go through all around. So I'm going to go and travel gently around this axis of rotation. My challenge as a leader is two things. First of all is to maintain a firm embrace, but without pushing or pulling my partner. I need to be there for her to support her calisa, and then of course the adornos that are coming here. But on top of it, what I need to do is make sure that I have the steps which are not going to go further or nearer the axis of rotation. In other terms, it has to be a circle, not an oval, not an odd shape. 1, 2, 3, that means I have to round every step and wait for my partner to complete her sequence. We are going to do a side step at the end, a bit of dissociation to the left, and we'll go into stepping in cross system forward. We'll go back to that. Follow us.
Okay, so the first thing that is going to happen is the leader is going to take you into a forward ocho or a back ocho, but you're going to end up being in that corte situation. So you have your corte situation that you want to have your center on top of the standing leg. This is checkpoint number 1. Because you're going to have to be very, very reliant on your standing leg in order to have a good posture. If the weight is distributed over 2 legs, I won't be able to play with a free leg. So I need to really take my center back, so take my hips on top of the heel, and that way I'm going to have a really, really good alignment, and I'm going to be able to lift or play with the free leg. So that's your first checkpoint. Make sure you arrive, you're stable. And then I am going to increase a little bit my dissociation. So I'm going to have a little bit of a delay of my lower body. And then at one point, I am going to play with a free leg. I'm going to start with a rouleau. So the rouleau is a circular movement under my knee. Drawing a circle can be twice if you have time, and then back into the projection. So we did spend a lot of time last Friday technique class explaining the technique of the rouleau in detail, so you may want to go and have a look if you so desire. But for now, we do just one rouleau under my own space without altering the position of the hips. From there, you're going to, so this happens whilst you are turning, yeah. So you're going to be in that moment of the calcita, and then you're going to bring that leg into the collection and crossing it behind, taking the heel off the floor of your free leg. So here, in order to create space to transfer and putting the heel down. The upper body is keeping on staying in that dissociated position. From here, I am going to extend in my projection, pivot over one leg, and my projection is going to be transformed into a back projection before I collect again. I transfer and I project the left, so I'm finishing in the same position as I started. So I have a few more things to say, but I would like to demonstrate this with the leader so you can have a little bit better idea of what's happening.
With the leader. Nice. So, start with a little backward choke, rotate the hips and get ready to support your follower.
So we have our ruler, and here I'm going to straighten the standing leg to create space for the transformation. I'm going to delay the lower body, continuing turning, spiraling, straightening the standing leg, and back after my change of the weight back into the projection. And here we are going to collect and end up facing each other.
1, 2, and of course our little cross to finish and resolve.
So what really helps is to have your core engaged at all times. Remember, the frame is there to help you, is there for you, but it's not the only thing that you have available. So really push the floor via the standing leg as you have all the decoration. So utilize the contact of the floor and then a little bit of the help of the frame, but have your center engaged at all times. This is very important, otherwise it becomes very heavy on the liver.
So for me, what I'm going to do to help my partner is to really have my embrace engaged, have a little bit of a lift, a tiny lift on my partner, so that she feels she can push down on it, and I make sure that I don't pull or push away from me. I just go and make sure that I respect the axis, I keep it in the center at all times.
Yes, please. This is really going to help us. Yeah.
So let's do it one more time.
Okay.
Take your time for the setup, leaders, and we go. All right. So, should we show it with the music?
Okay.
poca esperanza que no llega, que no alcanza, que no puede disparar la tardanza. Somos el viajero que no implora, que no reza, que no sobra, que se echó a morir. No comprendes que te estás matando, no comprendes que te estoy amando.
Okay, you have to practice a few seconds. You have one more thing to add to this.
No ves el mejor que el dolor que he dejado un favor liberado de mi amor. No comprendes que te estoy salvando, no comprendes que te estás matando. No me sigas ni me llames, ni me dejes, ni me llores, ni me pidas más.
Alright, so it's a lot of pivot this way for the leader and the follower. So I'm going to propose something which is a bit cheeky perhaps, because I'm going to find a way to turn on the other side for a prolonged amount of time so I don't feel too dizzy. So let's take a look at what it could be. So we'll shorten a little bit the first part, and then I'm going to invite my partner around, backward show one more time, and here I'm going to catch that moment to have a connection with the back foot this time. So I was here, around, backward show, connection. I'm going to lift my partner and I'm going to start producing a little bit of a polgada and finish gently when I'm ready to do.
So a few words to make this a little bit easier to transition into the out of axis. This happens gradually, so my weight is going through being on axis, and then I'm going to gradually take it out to the back. And how do I do that? I'm going to take my center to the leader's arm, taking my center back. So I'm going to increase the pressure so the elasticity of the embrace has the chance to develop gradually. So be careful that when you are going to go with the knee up and you're going back, do not do the transition too quickly, and do not take the upper body back this way too quickly, yeah? So you really want to, if we can just do that moment of the transition. So I'm here taking the weight to my back leg first, then I'm going up, I feel the leader is taking me up and over, so I'm still on the axis, and now as the leader is taking me back, I am now having my back towards the arm of the leader, and at the same time I'm increasing the pressure on my left arm as well.
So what's really helpful for the leader, of course, is to feel that the hips are going back, not the torso, because the hips are going to be something we can manage easily with the embrace. The torso is going to feel that we have nothing to help. So really feel that you have that amount going back. Now for the leader, you need to actually synchronize a little bit two things. First of all, you need to synchronize the fact that you are establishing contact with the back foot, you're lifting, and as you're lifting, immediately you start rotating. The rotation itself is going to be simply a change of weight continuously on two legs here, going around the axis of rotation and maintaining a little bit of speed so that the follower can have a bit of balance, of course, for the single axis turn.
So one more thing about the position of the leg back, you really want to keep the hips as much as possible facing forward without rotating them, because opening the hips could take your leg out this way, and this is going to make a little bit more difficult to control. The weight is going to go too quickly out of axis, so you really want to have that free leg in the bolero position and try to close it behind the other one as much as possible. On the way out, you're going to feel the transition coming back into the axis before the exit. You're going to utilize the information you have, the leaders back into your arm, to press a little bit to help yourself back onto axis. And again, this is happening gradually. Yeah?
So, this is what happens. Again, I'm going to go into that calcita. Here, the lady or the follower is going to do the adornos. When I'm ready, I'm going to start preparing my side step into back ocho, and immediately I'm going to go into that single axis turn and collect, go with her and finish here. Good. So let's show it once with music, and then we show you the next part, of course, after this. Okay, now time to practice that little lovely combination. Okay, so let's take a look at, because we are on the theme of calcitas, what the leader could do to have a bit of a play, if you like. Something that I also like to do, because it's actually a bit of a nice little step for leaders. We are going to do the calista for leaders. So the idea is I'm going to launch my partner into a hero, and we're not going to get into too much detail, but it's a rounded hero, circular hero, so there is a constant amount of rotation around me. I'm going to launch and give energy, and she's going to catch that energy and sustain it for an amount of different rotations until we exit. So, I'm going to start with a few back ochos, and as I'm here, I'm going to displace my left, and I'm going to launch my partner here and create this strong sensation of dissociation to the left, and of course, we'll finish here. So, I like to do it without talking because it's difficult to explain and do it at the same time. So, without any explanation, so two things need to happen for this to work. First of all, I'm going to use that launch with the ocho going from this way to that way by displacing my leg, and I really go and launch my partner here with a little bit more extra rotation here. As I arrive in that situation here, I'm going to have to stay on the left, but I need to keep that element of dissociation because I need to instruct my partner, please continue going here. So be careful that as soon as you cancel dissociation, she will feel that the energy is gone and she will naturally stop. So the tip here is to keep a little bit of weight onto the left part of your body to actually instruct her to continue going, and you're going to simply have catch the backward show of the hero and establish contact with the right foot on hers, little barrida, and then finally finishing with collection in front of us.
Okay, so now what happens with this kind of hero? I say that the follower is going to take over in terms of carrying the leader for a moment. Of course, it's lounging into the position, so there is energy to continue that hero. But the way that we are going to walk around the leader, with this particular kind of hero, might be a little bit different than what you're used to, especially if you're used to the square hero. So we do start the first steps of the square hero, and then it becomes more of a circular hero. So here I am going forward, I'm going around, and I have that 180-degree pivot. So it feels like, okay, it could be a square hero because I did the first 3 steps in a very linear way with my lower body. However, with the lounging, what's going to happen is it's going to feel much more circular. So now it's going to be back, side, forward, side, back, side, forward, side, back, side, forward, and then a side step finally with that barrida. So the priority in this figure is not going to be for me to do a big pivot before each back step. It's going to be to actually manage to keep the leader on the axis. Okay, so that's going to become the priority. Of course, we need to pay attention to the footwork as always, but it's going to be crossing side, and not pivot back, side forward, pivot, and so on, so on. This is a different kind of hero. Now, one tip that I think is really, really helpful is, in order for me to keep the leader on the spot, number 1, I need to keep the rhythm. If I slow down too much, the leader is really going to struggle with that. Number 2, I'm going to lift the frame a little bit, so I'm going to keep that energy up as I turn. When the leader presses down, we have those 2 opposite energies that's going to give us a really, really good frame turning together. Yeah?
So this is a very, very important point because, of course, the follower is giving the energy to the couple, and I receive the energy. I'm only on one leg, so my position, of course, is highly unstable. So what I need to really feel is that the follower is going around me in a nice circle, and as Paula said, she's not slowing down. But that also means that I need to make sure that my left arm is not going to be too next to my body. The closer you go with the left arm, the harder it gets, because suddenly you have nothing to push or pull. So keep it really, really out. It's really going to help you. So should we do it with music?
Okay.
comprendes que te estás matando. No me sientas ni me llames,
Okay, guys,
ni me llores.
time to practice.
Este pormenor que le he dado con favor, preparado de mi amor, no comprendes que te estoy salvando, tú no comprendes.
Okay, so if you like, you can always pause the video, go back, watch again any part that wasn't clear. We have prepared a few other things because we like this theme this today to be a bit rich with content. So basically what we are going to have a look at now is the gancho or enganche. You'll see of course the difference in a second. We'll start with one of them, which is a bit of a lateral one. So I'm going to get into back ocho position, and as I do my last back ocho, I'm going to go closer to my follower, re-embrace her, and invite her to get into gancho here. I release, and I send her forward. So a couple of things need to happen. First of all, Paula, if you can help me. When the follower is going back, you need to get your foot right next to the heel. If you're too far, it's not going to be very easy for her to do the gancho. Two, really get close in the embrace to have that element of proximity, because what you need to do here is to have a bit of dissociation to the left to invite your partner to go in. My left foot is rotating a little bit if needed to create that sensation of gancho. And I finish here.
So for me, again, that corte situation, I'm going to utilize it as much as possible to give me the stability that I need. So when the leader places me onto that corte position, I need to take my center over the standing leg. So here, I'm going to have the free leg available for the gancho. If my weight is in the middle, it's going to be very uncomfortable because at the moment of the gancho, I'm going to have too much weight on the frame, compensating for the fact that I'm out of alignment. So I need to take my spine on top of my tailbone, on top of the heel. Now, as I have the rotation to the gancho here, and as I'm going to come back, I am not going to rush to get into the gancho, even if I know. So I'm going to wait, ready on the frame, wait for the leader to cause that dissociation, and my leg is going at the same time of my upper body, you see? Here and here. So try not to make that gancho automatically going back because you know it's a gancho, yeah?
So, let's show you again that little gancho. It's a lovely one. It's a bit unusual because what most people are used to is gancho from parada. So, one, repositioning of the foot and the embrace, and accompany your follower to wrap around that leg that you have prepared for the gancho. Good. Shall we continue?
Okay.
Okay, so we would like to show you another gancho which is very interesting as well in terms of the dynamics of how to create it. Again, it's a little bit unusual, but it's really lovely. So I'm going to do the same to start. And come here. Now I'm going to go and have a little rotation that actually produces a tiny little bolero. And as I'm going to send my partner forward with the left part of my embrace, I'm going to catch up with her and reposition my right foot and continue another type of dissociation, which is to the left. And let's finish here for now with a simple step back. We'll show you how to exit in a second. So maybe we should actually show it in different angles.
Okay.
So let's show you both ganchos from this angle. One, back ocho, reposition of the foot, re-embracing if necessary. First gancho. Little rotation to the right, lead to the left, and then here, reposition of the right leg, and dissociation to the left, and here, I'm just to do a very simple back step for now.
So as you can see, this gancho is not a quick gancho at all. So take your time, followers. The leg is going to go only as fast as the rotation happens. So don't be in a rush to bring the leg too quickly onto the gancho up. Yeah?
So for me, what is very difficult, or not difficult, but the challenge I would say for this is once I have got into my position for the first gancho is to lead my partner forward and have that right leg go around, so you kind of slide your foot and you need to create space in between your legs as you're dissociating to the left. So let me do it in this angle. So you're going to have this here, and here you need to pivot a little bit to create that little pivot on the left leg, dissociate to the left, have a little bit more weight on the right here, and finally exit here. The reason we are doing a little bit of a boleo in between the two is to reset the follower so that she's in her axis when she enters the second gancho.
So one more tip in terms of placement of the head. This is going to help you because it's going to increase the amount of dissociation that you have. So I have to be aware where my head is rotating. So if I can quickly demonstrate that.
Absolutely.
So we have the first one, and my dissociation is going to be to the left. So my head is going to turn as much as possible to this side. Now, as we're coming back, I have a choice to come back with my head forward because my spine is now facing this way, or I can stay with the leader. As I'm going forward, there's another dissociation starting. So now it's only natural for me to go with my head to the left again. And that's going to be very good because it's increasing the amount of dissociation, and I'm now facing my partner even more.
Okay, so this is a very, very lovely little gancho that is a little bit more torsion, so a little bit more difficult. But if you can do at least a little bit of dissociation to your partner, it would be great. Of course, you know, it's a lot of torsion that Paula is giving here. So let's show you this with music. Maybe let's show the end perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah. So one thing that you can do once you are okay, let's do this. Let's do the full range here. 1 and 2. Now here, guys, you're going to send your partner back. You have a back cross, and very quickly you're going to pivot and catch that foot here for a little sacada, and you finish here. So now what's interesting here is the fact that the follower is going to go back twice. So that means you have to be very careful what to do with the left part of your embrace. You need to accompany her around with the left part. So let's show it without stopping. 1 and 2, 1, and then I take her to the back. 3, 4, 5, and a quebrada at the end if you want to.
So what happens here is after my second gancho, I'm going to have to reposition my free leg again on the floor, but I'm going to try and do that with the least amount of noise possible. So I'm going to take my center back with me gradually, and I'm ready for the side step. So if we can do for this floor, you can do the whole thing if you want.
Yeah.
Might be easier to get there. So we have the first gancho, and then we're positioning and second gancho. So here, I'm simply going to drop my gancho leg into projection, and now I'm going to wait, arrive with the center back to collection, and now I created quite a lot of space, which is good because I need it for my side step and for the sacada. So there's the leader needs that space as well. So this is an important moment to transition from the gancho to create a bit more space for the side sacada.
So music.
Okay?
All right.
que derramaba, fatalmente derramaba sobre toda la fuiste por mi culpa, golondrina entre la nieve, rosa marchitada por la nube de los 9. Fuimos la esperanza que no llega, que no alcanza, que no puede parar la tarde mansa. Somos el día que no implora, que no reza, que no sobra, que se echó a morir. No comprendes que te estás matando, no comprendes que te estoy amando. No mereces que te estoy llorando.
And last one for you guys.
No ves es mejor que mi dolor que le he dado con favor, liberado de mi amor. No comprendes que te estoy salvando, no comprendes que te estás matando. No me sigas ni
Your
me
time to practice a little bit.
ni me sobres ni me quieras más. No comprendes que te estoy salvando, no comprendes que te estoy amando. No me sigas ni me llames, ni me beses, ni me llores.
Alright, okay, so we hope it's quite fun so far. So a few dance shows, and now it's starting to get a little bit darker, so hope that the video is still very clear. And we have also on Facebook, I don't know if Facebook is working so well, because it's a little bit choppy on Facebook, but let's see. So we would like to move on to our next little sequence with enganches this time, and we're going to have enganche on both sides. So let's take a look at the start. It's a little sequence, but of course the sequence is only good to explore different concepts and different steps. It's not a recommendation at all to learn the sequence by heart. Just learn the individual bits as an example and then create your own sequence. So I'm going to go into a rebote rebound, and I'm going to catch my partner here for the first enganche. So she's going to wrap around here, and very quickly I'm going to place her in parada. So let me show you one more time. You can do either a rebound or a side step, it's the same idea. And catch, bend that leg here, little voleo, and then reposition your foot in front of her in a parada. Now what we are going to show you is a little decoration for ladies, quite nice. And of course this is leg, back and forth.
So here what I'm doing is I'm going to flex my foot on the inward coming back of the movements. Here on the outward movements, I am going to project the leg. So I'm going from this place to projection, coming back, projection and coming back, and I'm waiting for that rotation of the leader. So I'm pivoting my standing leg each time, corresponding to the amount of rotation the leader is giving.
So what I'm doing to lead that, of course, is I place and I give my partner that little bit of rotation, back and forth, not very much, just enough for her to play and do this little decoration on the floor. One, and I catch this and I rotate her. She understands she's an enganche, little voleo here, and reposition of the foot. Now I'm going to leave my partner, and around, and around, and around. And of course the next step will be forward step. Is that clear for now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So here, let's maybe go from the top, because I have a few tips from the very first, the beginning of the sequence, if we may. So, we have that side step where the leader is already going to start rotating. So here there's no abrupt stop, there is continuation of the rotation, and as I'm more or less in the middle, this side, it's already starting to go in contrast, so that I get my contraboleo with a lot of movement. So the secret here is do not block the movement in any way. You are going and then already the right side is rotating. So I'm opening the left and then I'm opening the right. So my leg is going to go up before the boleo, and how it goes up, I'm going to bring the knee up, but keep the level of my hips parallel with the floor.
For you leaders, what I need to do is have a little bit of an opening of the foot to the left to be ready for the first enganche. I get my leg in, I bend it straight away, and I pivot to the right before I finish in parada. So basically in terms of the lead, it's catch that leg, dissociation to the left, have a bit of bend so that she can catch it in enganche, dissociation to the right to catch that boleo, and finally go around the foot and place your foot in parada.
So we try to make it as circular as possible. So we breathe through the movement. Here I'm going to wait for the leader to bring me up and over, because I don't know what is going to happen at this moment. So I'll wait for the invitation before my next alarm.
Sorry, and this is where my lead for this little decoration needs to be very close to her. So I'm going, if I was in a slightly open embrace because of the boleo, I'll have to really close the embrace, go really around the waist of my partner. So let's take a look at this specific time. One, here is closed. Here I'm going to open it a little bit so that I have space for my hip to pass. But now I need to go around and see my hand is going here, because I need to have a very fine degree of lead so she understands my intention very clearly.
So here we are really utilizing the push on this side of the embrace in order to have that kind of rebound elasticity of the frame, so I'm all the time able to come back with the after energy of the rebound. So I'm not bringing it by my own energy, but I wait that the frame is bringing the leg. So frame and leg, if that makes sense.
Alright, so what happens next is, if you are willing to see what's happened next, is basically we added an enganche but to the other side, enganche in hiro. So I'm here in my parada, and this of course adorno is optional, I don't have to do it every time. So just a very, very nice thing to do, but I'm going to invite my partner, collect, change my weight to the left, and go around and invite my partner into a hiro, and here I'm going to catch that enganche. So she's going to feel this is an enganche, she's going to get the leg in, and I'm going to finish with my right on this side of the foot, my left into reverse sandwich, and I'm going to gently finish with an uncrossing here, making sure that I stay in my axis, because I'm on one leg and on top of it I'm back crossed.
So let's have a look, quick lift to the forwards, what happens at the end of the adorno. So we have the adorno situation, we're coming back, we're going to a forward ocho. And then we're going to pivot to get around the leader as much as possible, that side step. We have the gancho, and now I'm going to amplify the energy of the embrace that the leader is giving me to have a big lapis into a corte. And on the corte, taking the center back again and waiting for the axis to be transferred again when I'm going into that forward situation.
I'm going to do it slightly more to the center so you can see the feet as well. So we are here. Adorno, if you like. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to send my partner forward by inviting her. Get my right back. 1, 2, 3. Uncross and invite my partner into a next parada. And of course we are going to end with our classic ending after Palama. So quite a nice little sequence here. It's a little bit longer than what we normally do, but we wanted to show you quite a few options here. So let's switch with music.
Okay.
So let's stop the song for a second. We'll wrap up our class now. Just a few things I would like to tell you. First of all, do not forget that we have all our classes live. We have 3 to 4 classes a week. Monday for the workout, Wednesday and Sunday for couples, and Friday for solo technique. Every information is on the live page. So this is the first link. And if you have more time, if you actually want to catch up on lessons that we've missed, the library is the place to go. So /library, and you have more than 500 different themes. So quite a rich library to take a look at if you like.
And guys, do pay us a visit on Instagram if you haven't yet. There's a lot happening over there. And how you can do that is visiting at Tanguito Academy at PAULA Tango. If you would like to have a look at my own website, it's the same as the last, pauladuartetango.com. Okay, we believe it's time to wrap up the class with a dance for you, shall we?
Here we go.
Ni me sobres, ni me pierdas más. no comprendes que te estoy salvando, no comprendes que te estoy salvando, no me sientas ni me llames, ni me beses, ni me llores, ni me quieras
I have to say, I haven't found a way to stop that music at the end, I'm sorry. It would have been better to have a pause of the music, but that's what it is. So, thank you so much for your support for the full year that just is behind us. So, we really would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are back every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, so come back please and register to this YouTube channel and go to the live page.
Thank you so much for everything, guys, because it's been a long year and this really helped us to get through teaching you. So thank you so much for your attendance, and we hope that you continue coming, and see you for the next class.
And hopefully soon we'll be in person live. You know, we can't know for sure, but it's hopefully soon.
Bye.
Thank you.